Well, thank you, Jocelyn. And I'd also want to welcome you all for joining us on this 25th anniversary Voices of Courage Awards luncheon. It's a big day for all of us. And it's a great privilege to be able to share the stage with such distinguished speakers and honorees working for the rights of women and girls. Let's talk a little bit about the history. 25 years ago, Lee Volman, Catherine O'Neill, and several other dynamic women with a lot of heart, came together with a shared mission. It was a straightforward but radical one, to compel the humanitarian community to address the particular needs of refugee women and children, needs that had been routinely ignored. Working under the auspices of the International Rescue Committee, they envisioned a world in which the voices of refugee women are heard, understood, and acted upon at the highest level. Under the guidance of my predecessors, Marianne Schwalbe, Mary Diaz, and Caroline Makinson, the organization has grown and evolved, gaining respect and recognition. In Pakistan and Afghanistan, in Cambodia, Bosnia, and Kosovo, the Women's Refugee Commission was there. We reported on atrocities committed against displaced women and children. We guided agencies on how to meet their needs, and we advocated to change the way humanitarian services were delivered. We are proud of the life-altering changes we have brought about with our partners. Some examples. 25 years ago, refugee women had virtually no access to reproductive health care. Today, there are humanitarian standards that spell out the life-saving services that must be provided in crisis settings. As a result of our advocacy, millions of refugee women and girls are receiving health care, the health care that is their right. 10 years ago, there was no guidance on providing safe access to cooking fuel. Women and girls risked harassment and rape every time they went to fetch firewood. We led the development of guidance and global efforts to provide fuel-efficient stoves and alternatives to firewood in war-torn areas like DRC. Even 5 years ago, economic programs for refugees were rarely market-driven. They did not provide a dignified livelihood, and they were often not safe for women. Globally, humanitarian practitioners are now using the tools we developed to design safe and effective job creation opportunities. We continue to lead the way through our pioneering research. Whether throwing a spotlight on the gender needs of Syrian refugees or pushing for effective and inclusive programs for refugees with disabilities. And in the United States, we are advocating on the front lines for migrant women and children. Because of our work, the US government has ended its practice of detaining migrant families and unaccompanied children in prisons and jails. There is a growing need for what we provide. That is a strong understanding not only of how to protect women and children affected by crisis, but crucially, how to ensure they get the resources and skills they need to rebuild their lives. Sexual violence against women and girls caught up in conflict remains at horrific levels. War must not be played out on the bodies of women and girls. We will be relentless in our advocacy to end this egregious violation of human rights. We know that in the years to come, our world will face enormous challenges, increasing inequality, protracted conflicts, environmental crises. These challenges can only be tackled effectively if women play a leading role in their communities and societies. That's why empowerment, as well as protection, will remain central to everything we do. We also know that local groups are the first responders in every emergency. They hold the key to peaceful change and sustainable development. That's why we will continue to build and nurture respectful partnerships with local groups, particularly women's groups, and work to leverage their resilience and their capacity to better respond to disasters and crisis. We're 25. We've come a long way since the early days. I think since Bob DeVecchio gave the go-ahead to our very gutsy founders. And I am proud to let you know that just of last week, the Women's Refugee Commission is an independent, legal, and fiscal entity. With demand for expertise growing, this new status will allow us to build our capacity to assume an even more prominent advocacy role and ensure that we make an even bigger difference for refugee women, children, and youth. We are motivated and we feel more passionate than ever about doing what it takes to ensure that all refugees are safe, healthy, and self-reliant. Many of you here today have played an important role in our journey. I'd like to thank the board and staff of the IRC, including its new president, David Miliband, for your incredible support over the past 25 years. Thank you to the Women's Refugee Commission's board and commissioners for your crucial guidance and support. And of course, thank you to our talented staff for your dedication and invaluable work. I would also like to thank Thomson Reuters for its generous support and partnership throughout our 25th anniversary year. And a heartfelt thanks to all of you for being here today and for making everything we do possible. We all know that change doesn't just happen. Only by joining together and making a collective contribution can we hope to improve the lives of displaced women and children everywhere. Thank you.